Let me begin by saying that, first of all, no one can blame the disciples one single bit for hunkering down together in a locked room, because you know what? They had a lot to fear. According to John's gospel, first it was Mary Magdalene, then it was Peter, then it was the beloved disciple who found the tomb empty earlier in that day. They have taken him away, Mary proclaimed. They have taken him away. When Peter and the beloved disciple saw what they saw, they just went home. They went home, as one does. As one does when they see with their own eyes what God has done, and they're not quite sure what they're supposed to do next. As one does when it is still more than just a little bit dangerous to be a follower of Jesus in Jerusalem that weekend. But then it was Mary. Mary left behind at the tomb by the other two. Mary, who heard firsthand the good news of Easter Day from an angel of God, and then to whom the risen Christ appeared. It was Mary who ran back to tell the disciples what she had seen, what she had experienced. She went back to proclaim the good news she had heard. I would imagine it was only natural that when the other 9 disciples heard her testimony, of course there was fear. Once word begins to get around town, the chief priests, Herod's army, Pilate's guards, they're going to start looking for us. They're going to start rounding us up. They're going to start asking us questions. They're going to start accusing us. We are going to be accused of theft at best. We're going to be accused at best of stealing the body of Jesus. At worst, we're going to be accused of conspiring to commit a treasonous uprising. So someone decided to call a meeting. Because that's what the followers of Jesus do when they don't know what to do. We call a meeting. I'm not going to be there, Thomas said. Nope, I'm not coming. I don't know. I don't know if he and the family had plans for the night, prearranged plans that they couldn't get out of. Maybe he just didn't want to be around if and when things got dicey. It had already been a tough weekend. So Thomas decided to beg off the meeting, which brings me to another point. Secondly, if you have not already, I beg of you to please let Thomas off the hook. Can we all finally agree that hanging the label of doubting Thomas around his neck not only serves zero purpose, but totally discounts our own need for tangible, visible proof in life? There is not a single one of us in this room who at some point has not demanded some kind of tangible proof of remarkable things, far less remarkable than an appearance of the risen Christ some 48 plus hours after witnessing his death. Besides, how is it that John concludes his testimony of the life and ministry of Jesus? He does so by saying this: now Jesus did many other signs in the presence of his disciples that are not written in this book, but they are written down so that you might believe. John defines the ministry and identity of Jesus through the lens and context of signs. Tangible, visible, experienced signs. So that you might believe. So, when 1 week later, when Jesus appeared to the disciples for the second time, this time in the presence of Thomas, it was just as it was that Easter night. A manifestation of Jesus' ministry and his identity. Signs, everywhere there are signs. And these signs, they're not to be met with skepticism or doubt. Rather, they should be seen as a means by which God is revealed through Jesus. A means by which Jesus is to be known as the long-promised Messiah. Water to wine, feeding the 5,000, walking on water, raising of Lazarus. Each one a sign in the presence of great anxiety and fear. The resurrected Jesus comes and stands in those moments of fear and doubt simply to say, peace, peace. The same words, the same gift he bestowed upon them the very last time he was in a room with them. Peace I leave with you. My peace I give to you, he said, in an upper room not 72 hours earlier. Then he breathed upon them the Holy Spirit. The same Spirit, the same advocate promised to them in that same room, that same night. And then he said to them, you will remember everything. You will remember everything that I have ever taught you. Promises fulfilled. More signs. I have it on good authority. Though some of you might be skeptical, and rightfully so, I have it on good authority. I have been told that spring will eventually come. Yes, an angel of the Lord appeared to me and said, fear not, warmer weather shall come. Gardens can be planted, the sun will shine, and people can even wear shorts, though not everyone should. And if you said to me, I have to see it in order to believe it, I would not hold that against you one bit, because after all, it is April 8th. April 8th. And there is a good chance that when we wake up tomorrow morning, there will be snow on the ground. But also, if you are willing to see it, if you are willing to pay attention, if you are willing to believe, there are signs. The daffodils are beginning to bloom. The grass is beginning to turn green. Baseball season has started, though not as well for some as it has for others. These are the signs. Signs that God is doing a new thing around us. Signs that God is also doing new things among us. God is doing new things with us. God is doing new things through us. Easter isn't over, because Easter isn't a day. Easter is a whole season of resurrection signs and appearances where life is revealed and hope is fulfilled. Easter is a new and fresh beginning. And who among us has never wanted or benefited from a new, fresh start? Maybe, of course, you're still a little skeptical. Maybe you're just not sure. Maybe you find it easier to doubt, or maybe you find it easier to just stay hunkered down behind closed doors, or stay hunkered down behind big, insurmountable walls that you create to keep everyone and everything that threatens you out and away and distant and separated. I hear that. I get that. I do it too. But know this. On the other side of those doors, on the other side of those walls, and on the other side of that doubt lies opportunity. The opportunity to start fresh and new, to seize the new life that Easter brings. Maybe it's in the reconciliation of a relationship that has gone off the rails and has caused you pain and hurt. Maybe it's in the need to let someone off the hook, extending to them grace and understanding. Maybe it's in the need to extend grace and understanding to yourself. letting yourself off the hook for once, and finally saying, I am simply doing the very best I can do in this moment, right now, today. Maybe there is some unfinished business between you and God left over from Lent. Something that you gave up way back there, but is still lingering there in the background, whispering in your ear, and you are still struggling. Whatever it is, know that in the midst of it all, if you are willing to acknowledge it, the risen Christ comes to you. The risen Christ comes to you and stands among you, stands with you, and says to you, peace, my child, peace. Because Easter isn't over. In fact, it never is. Because Easter is more than an empty tomb. Easter is the daily embodiment of the risen Christ. And if you look around, and honestly, you do not have to look that hard, but if you look around, you will see the sign.